Herodotus, the Greek historian, reported that the ancient Persians tended to deliberate on important matters when they were drunk, and then they would reconsider the decisions the following day when they were sober. If it happened that they were I lost my place. If it happened when their deliberation took place when they were sober, then they would reconsider the matters under influence of wine. If a decision was approved both drunk and sober, the decision held. If not, the Persians set it aside. My name is Willows.
And my name is Tyler.
And we are both young business guys who still adhere to these ancient traditions. Join us as we debate and discuss business topics, moves we're making, which we're not really making any moves because of coronavirus, politics, and more, both sober and then drunk to see if we come to the same conclusion. This is Alcohol Beyond This Point. And if I sound a little bit frazzled, it's because I am under quarantine and I am not happy about it. So let's talk about that.
Well,
first off, we're drinking a 60 of Costco branded Kirkland vodka and some stolen Fruitopia from Popeyes and sparkling water, and I'm going to make a little concoction here.
It's called a cocktail.
It's called a cocktail. So I'm going to make these cocktails without any ice, and you explain what's happening to our listeners right now.
We have a new studio, aka the first studio.
We have a studio now, kind of.
It's an extra bedroom.
It's one of my roommates moved out of the house, and we turned his bedroom. We put a desk in, and we are currently recording in there.
Yep, so we got some shitty chairs. We got a for sale sign. We are Winnipeg sign, like Winnipeg Jets. We are Winnipeg 2019, and yeah,
that's about it. And we're looking good. So,
where the fuck's the ice?
Don't worry about it. This is cool. Are you under quarantine right now?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, your office has been working remote, right?
Yeah, this is the first time I've left my house in like 5 days.
So I don't know when this is going up, but this is being recorded, what is it, the 17th of March right now?
Yeah, Wednesday the 17th.
And they have pretty much closed everything because of COVID-19.
Yeah, and business in Cleveland is severely compromised at this point. They had military rolling in, apparently. The air traffic apparently was pretty heavy with choppers and military planes.
Wow.
Humvees. So that's getting interesting over there.
So it's not that bad here yet.
No.
But as of today, I have officially made the decision to close my bar. We didn't get forced to, but it's just cheers.
It's not bad.
It's heavy on the bug. We didn't get forced to, but I made the decision to close the bar. The retail store is still open, but I'm limiting to like one customer at the counter at a time. So I'm saying step by, and we're not doing cash transactions anymore and stuff like that. So, I think we were kind of making fun of coronavirus last episode, but this is kind of serious.
Yeah, well, we were making fun of it to the fact of like, we'll see what happens. I don't think either.
I'm still not scared of getting the virus.
Right. No, that hasn't changed. Neither of us really doubted that it was going to come here or get, I didn't know how serious it would be. I knew if it got here, I wouldn't be in trouble regardless. But like you're seeing on all these articles, if you're a young person running around and think you're invincible, sure, maybe you are, but don't be that fucking guy, because how many people are you going to kill?
Yeah. So yeah, we're kind of self-isolating. I'm basically going from here to the shop and back. I've been really limiting my contact with people.
Yeah. Someone at our office is caretaker and lives with their 97-year-old grandfather, so really high risk.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we're being careful. I am worried about the economic effects of this, though, because both here and the States, I think our Trump and Trudeau are both talking about just basically cutting checks to people to stay home.
Yeah, pretty much.
So there's going to be probably long-lasting economic effects from that. But I'm also worried, like myself as a small business owner and like everybody else, my friends that are small business owners, it's like we can't weather the storm, right? If there's no customers, like between all my events got canceled, my samplings got canceled, and my bar is closed, that's more than 50% of my income, probably closer to 70, right? So we will see.
So there's a lot of hype and fear around the market crashing, but there's like some serious damage, and like we're preaching to the choir. By the time this comes out, everyone's gonna be like, yeah, we fucking know I haven't left my house and the military's on the street.
Yeah. I mean, like, so I kind of we'll probably go off on a tangent, but what I wanted to kind of theme this video is, what does your business do if it gets locked down for COVID-19? So starting there, basically what my industry, like I own a winery, we have a wine bar, we're in manufacturing, we're in a bunch of stores, stuff like that. So what my industry has been doing, we all closed the bars, but we've been kind of revamping our own delivery services. Like I had a home delivery service that I opened in 2017 that I closed in 2019. That was like within the hour you ordered, and it just got to a point where it was too big, and it was like I didn't want to manage it anymore. And my partner and I were still having to drive delivery like 3 days a week, and it just wasn't, it wasn't worth the effort anymore. Especially if we were making a lot of money other places. But now, I guess we're not making money anymore. Except,
Oof.
Yeah.
Like, how long can they realistically close the liquor stores before people start rioting? That's the real question.
I would argue it's an essential service, at least in this city.
I think in every city.
But they're doing it in Italy and in France and Ireland and stuff right now. They're closing everything that's not grocery stores, pretty much.
Yeah, but you can probably buy liquor in the grocery stores.
Maybe, but whatever. Like, my point being, like, it's not unrealistic that they'll close the liquor stores here, which is the last of my income. And because I'm kind of hearing whispers that they're going to. And so someone at the Business Development Bank of Canada told me that they heard from the federal government that this could be 4 months of like a lockdown of non-essential services.
I don't think it'll be that long.
I guess they're telling them to prepare for the worst. But yeah, like
the only consolation in all of this is that we're just all fucked.
Yeah. Well, that's a point where we have like,
because you've been like alone in your we're fucked situation.
Yeah.
But now you're talking about industry killing.
Yeah, and we have pretty socialist governments in North America. Even you Americans that don't like to think you do. I mean,
you do.
You have a pretty socialist country, and so do we have a more so obviously. There's no way that our governments are just going to let everybody go out of business. Like,
yeah,
right. So, but what they're offering right now, at least for businesses in Canada, isn't free money. Like it's loans, and it's like it's not forgiveness of debt. It's like deference of debt. Like you can pay it later.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like
just it's a liquidity problem, right?
Yeah. But for a lot of small businesses, I don't have that fucking money to begin with. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. And your industry was hit very hard, right?
Really fast.
Really, yeah.
Mostly because we're international, but yeah, we're running into a liquidity problem as well because half the employees at the title company are home.
And your investors, right?
Investors that were supposed to come in from overseas canceled their trips, obviously. So that was a lot of deals deferred. Stuff that was in process of closing had people backing out. We have contractors, all our contractors actually. I mean, none of them want to stop working or even slow down. But
Home Hardware, right?
Home Depot, we've heard whispers that they're closing, which I would argue is an essential service. So I hope they don't. But yeah, everything's moving slow. Most of the courts are closed. You can't pull any building permits right now.
I didn't even think of that.
Can't pull building permits. Like no inspectors are coming. Utility services are like probably swamped right now. I don't know what they're gonna have.
Well,
apparently, just in general, we're really connected into the government infrastructure, right?
Yeah. Well, because like our municipal government here has apparently been overlogged with, like, you can't even get through to anybody right now.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. Well, I was even seeing like it's all the like 10 levels of effects that you don't think of. Someone was telling me that they were because like all the universities closed, so they're requiring students to do like Zoom conferencing, like
Yeah,
basically Skype, but
they have an online educational program.
But apparently, a bunch of people were complaining that the internet was slowing down.
No, the actual software used for the online teaching programs is being overloaded because every school is putting every class and every student onto it, so it's it's breaking down, and they're understaffed already.
And then Bell MTS, which is the big internet Manitoba telecom service here, they're the big internet and cable provider. They released a statement that said their internet is indeed slowing down because it's being overused because fucking 75% of people are home watching Netflix and it's overloading their internet. Like they're not, because usually people are using internet at different times of the day, but now everyone's using it at the same time. And they were like, well, what do? You go build more towers and more cables? Like, no, you can't, right? So. And
then there's the fact that people's kids are home from school.
Yeah. Well, that's so. Yeah, like today or like a couple of days ago, daycare's closed, schools are closing. Like, there's a problem.
Yeah, real problems.
Do you think the panic is justified?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You think we need to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Or we should be at least?
Yeah. No, I've been my role in our company has kind of been like the research guy.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of research, and right now that's like obviously a lot of stuff going on, news and whatever. So I've been looking on podcasts, a lot of newscasts, a lot of like off the mainstream news, try to get a lot of stuff from Reddit, Twitter, things like that. I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but if you look at 30, 40 things a day, kind of cross-reference and come with
there's a little bit of truth in everything.
So the approximation that I'm coming up with is it's pretty undeniable
that this is
that like what Italy's going through right now, they're still a ways away from their peak. Like they haven't been able to really slow it down yet. And they had almost a 35% increase in their fatalities yesterday to today.
Yeah, it's fucked. Well, our province doubled in cases like today.
Yeah, they're almost 500 deaths a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's jumping by a multiplier. So
you think this is?
I don't. The deaths column, like I download the stats sheet every day, and it's getting longer because the only countries that make it onto the list are the ones with fatalities, and the list is getting longer every day. China is ticking down the list every day. U.S. is ticking up.
Yeah, cool, because China has it pretty much under control.
Yeah, Canada is like way down. So we're doing okay.
Well, honestly, I'm proud of my city here in Winnipeg because we haven't been ordered to close any of the businesses, and 90% of businesses have closed anyway.
Yeah.
Just to protect people.
Yeah.
And like I know you said you didn't really see it, but I was driving downtown today, and it was noticeably
quieter.
I
didn't hit Portage though.
I went right down Portage all the way to Maine. Like it was noticeably quieter.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So we're reacting, but. So I listened to the last interview I listened to was the governor of New York.
Yeah.
And usually politicians kind of pull punches and they don't want people to panic. And he just was straight up saying, he's like, yeah, this is going to be long lasting economically, like brace yourself 6 to 9 months of bad times. And on top of that, he's like, at current projections, he's like, everything we've tried has not slowed it down.
Yeah.
Like all moderate measures have not worked. He's like, we're not going to like full
panic mode yet.
Like
martial law.
Basically, like martial law, lock you in your home. He's like, we don't believe in that, but we will go to the level of like zero public. Like you can leave your house to like walk the park, but don't congregate, don't get close to people. You can go to other people's houses, but like even that's going to be restricted.
Well, like regrettably, I spoke with my ex-girlfriend for a while the other day because I was worried about her. She's in
Europe.
She's in Europe right now, or she's back in Canada safely, so I could stop talking to her. But I was worried, and so I gave her a text and I said, "Hey, just like what's going on, whatever. She basically said like the embassy like told her to get the fuck home and get out of the country. Like if you're going back, go back now.
Yeah.
And she was saying that they have military men and cops on the street. They're like, why the fuck are you outside? Get back inside. Like they're walking around like making sure people are in France, and she was in Portugal.
Yeah. As of today, the governor says they're not going to do that, but I definitely wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, but also 3 days ago, a bunch of places were like, "Oh, we're not closing," and then it got way worse, and they're like, "Ah." Like,
but he's also saying on the current trajectory for the state of New York, they're going to need about 100,000 hospital beds at the peak, which is about 45 days away. So that would be end of April.
What's the population in New York State?
I don't know. A lot.
I think it's like as much as Canada.
Probably.
I could ask, but I'm on airplane mode.
I'm not. It's fine. I don't have any friends. So, 100,000 hospital beds.
Mm-hmm.
In the entire state, they have 50,000. That's not that bad. But here's the bad stat.
Yeah.
They're going to need 37,000 ICU units.
Yeah.
They have 3,000.
We have like 50 ICUs.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, we have way less people.
Fair, but like yeah.
And it just got cut in our province as well. But yeah, basically a ridiculous multiplier short
of what we have or what they need.
Yeah, and he's saying that's like at the peak. So you're talking 5-6 weeks of people, well, on the front and the back half of that, just dying simply because they can't get a respirator. So like that's what they call their moderate estimate. So it could be worse than that. It could be better than that. But even if it's half that bad, you're still talking about 15,000 people that are just going to, lay there suffocating in a hospital bed with no friends or family around. And like you might not even find out that your loved one is dead for days afterwards because they're processing too many bodies.
Yeah, this is pretty wild. Like nothing like this has happened in our lives. No. Like because SARS didn't kill this
last time would have been Spanish flu.
That was 1919.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Which, fun fact, was H1N1. Spanish flu.
H1N1 itself was really bad, too.
Yeah, but, like, I remember my mom freaking out a bit. How old were we? We were like 10, 12, maybe, when H1N1 was a thing.
No, I thought it was 15 years ago.
Grade 6, grade 7, I think.
Okay. Anyways, it was over 100,000 deaths.
I remember getting the vaccine.
Yeah.
My mom was freaking out. She ran a bus had its stop sign up and she ran it. And then she like got out of the car and talked to the bus driver in tears. She's like, I'm just scared of H1N1. I don't know why I remember that vividly, but I do.
That's hilarious. Yeah. You can see Jen doing that. But the reason that one wasn't as bad or as scary is because I don't think it was as transmissible. But even if it was, the fatality rate was it was under 0.5%.
What's this one?
Over 2%.
What's like the flu? I thought
flu is 0.02.
Because I thought like
or 0.2.
I don't know. I was reading a bunch of things. I am not a doctor. I'm a shrugging doctor. So take my medical opinions with a grain of salt. But I was reading that like it's not actually that much worse than the flu.
No, it's about 150 times worse.
Yeah, but 150 times a point something is like not that much.
Well, if you're like H1N1 infected 60 million people, so if you multiply the 112,000 deaths by 150, that's quite a lot of people.
It's like 1 billion people. I don't think that's true. Okay, if 1 billion people die, I will rescind my comment.
Okay. Nobody came to this podcast for math or facts, so disregard everything I just said. Cut that out, Steven.
Okay, we'll start right now.
Jamie.
We'll start right now.
Okay, but either way, the fatality rate is fantastically higher than the regular flu.
Are you worried?
Not personally.
No, me neither.
I was saying today, like if it comes to it, like I'll volunteer.
Yeah, you were saying.
I'll put on some scrubs and a gown because I'm young and I'm not going to die. I don't.
Do you subscribe to any of the conspiracy theories?
No. Like what?
I will start.
List them first.
Yes, I will start the most tame, and end with the most insane.
Okay, yeah, let's do this. Conspiracy theory corner.
Well, you know me by now. I'm sure if you listen to 9 episodes of this, you know I'm pretty tied into my internet conspiracy theories. So most came being, do you remember November, December? Everyone had like a really bad cold, and people were getting flu tests, and it was coming back negative, and no one knew everyone was fucking sick, had bronchitis, had whatever.
Okay, let me tell you, Morden School was having 40 to 60 kids a day being pulled from school for severe flu. It was like 3/4 of the school was empty. So
that timeline lines up with when the first cases of this thing was happening. The conspiracy is we all got it already. The governments are just downplaying it because they don't want. We've all had it. Fucking 50% of our city has had it and survived. That's one of the ones, and because I remember fucking half the people I do business with were canceling their meetings because they had fucking chest infections and throat infections and shit, which is like the exact symptoms of this flu, right?
Yeah.
So that was because apparently the first case in China was like around that time, and people fucking look how fast it's going now, right?
Yeah, but you didn't have hospitals overloaded.
I don't know, man. I don't know because people weren't freaking out about it. Like it was they weren't in pandemic mode. Like
I mean, you didn't have your like pulmonary what do they call it, wards overloaded. You didn't have lack of respirators. You didn't have like 70 people a day dying in the ICU.
Yeah, because now it's like spiraled since then. You know what I mean?
So if we all have it, is just a 3-month incubation period?
No, maybe people are getting better and they're not, because no one was telling them that they should be sick. So they're like, oh, I guess I'm just going to stay home. I have a fucking cold. And then they got over. Okay, whatever.
Next one. It's bullshit.
Okay. All right.
It's not true.
All right. Okay, we'll move into like, it's man-made.
Also unlikely.
So evidence to that one is, I'm not 100% on, well, okay, I'm not saying I believe any of this. I'm just regurgitating the facts. One of the associations that Bill Gates owns has the patent for coronavirus.
Yeah.
And they were researching it in a lab in Wuhan or whatever.
Yeah, they have a lab there, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why Bill Gates just stepped down as CEO, or stepped down from the board of Microsoft recently. It was because this whole thing happened, and they like forced him out because like you just fucking infected the world. Get the fuck out of here.
It seems slightly more plausible. Did you hear the epidemiologist on the Joe Rogan show?
I saw it. It's in my bookmark. I've been busy trying to prepare for this shit.
If you believe what that guy says, he says it's highly unlikely it's human engineered.
Okay. Well, he's an expert, obviously. So.
Yeah, he's like, humans are not this
smart,
not this creative or skilled at making diseases.
Okay.
They could make something like this.
I will trust the expert on that one.
Yeah.
So.
But the guy that made it would totally say that.
Fair. Okay, I have a batshit crazy one that I heard today, but I'm trying to think if I know anything that's more in between. I can't.
The human trafficking one's crazy.
With the Epstein thing? I think that's the one I'm talking about.
Shoot.
Okay. So, basically, here, and this is like there's a whole, like I saw a 4chan thread, there's a Reddit thread, there's a whole long...
Which means it's obviously true.
People adding new things to it, whatever. Okay, so it starts with Jeffrey Epstein was in prison, said, hey, I will give up everybody who's part of my pedophile ring if you fake my death and smuggle me out of here. So they did it. So the whole Epstein didn't kill himself thing. Like, he's alive, they smuggled him out of there, he's whatever. And then he is in like a special military tribunal, and he testified against all these, like the Pope, because the Pope's sick now, Trudeau, Tom Hanks, all these celebrities that are part of this pedophile ring that are now going to be, quote, infected with coronavirus, and they're going to kill them, this military tribunal, for being part of this pedophile ring, and then blame it on because if you're causing panic, no one's paying attention, right?
Yeah, it's the only thing in the news, and if people are dying, it's fine.
Yeah. So that's but it's like, yeah, look it up. Probably just Google Epstein coronavirus. Like you'll probably find stuff. But
also, people are sitting at home all day doing nothing
because they're on quarantine,
yeah.
so they have to write all this shit. But I've been hearing shit like that since.
This could perpetuate enough. Like there's what they call it, the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
You know what the Mandela effect is?
Well, it's evidence that we're in the Berenstain universe.
Right. Literally. So it's a collective misremembering of the facts.
Yeah, because it's named after Nelson Mandela, who a lot of people think died in prison, but he didn't actually die in prison. He was released in the 90s and went like nothing.
Yeah.
And then the other one is right now. Whoever, if you're listening, stop, think. The Berenstain Bears. The books, right? Children's books. You'll probably remember them. If you're born anywhere between 1975 and now, you probably remember Berenstain Bears. How is Berenstain spelled? Don't look it up. How is Berenstain spelled?
I know the answer.
Now, look it up. It's spelled Berenstain, but all of us remember Berenstein or Berenstein.
Yep.
Not Berenstain, but it was always Berenstain. Or was it?
Also, Febreze.
Febreze?
1 E. It's not.
Shit.
Like okay.
All right.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of them. Yeah. Look up Mandela effect. There's a ton of them.
And that's why we drink podcasts. Like one of the last episodes they did was like an hour on different Mandela effect type of things, and you're just like sitting there shaking your head the whole time. You're like, oh my goodness.
What were you calling the Mandela effect? Why did that come up?
Well, that's just what their podcast.
No. Why did that come up just now?
Oh, because all these conspiracy theories spiraling. 20 years from now, people are like, oh, what happened?
And we don't remember.
What happened?
Hey, that was like one of our first episodes of this podcast. Was talking about how memory is fucking unreliable.
Right, exactly. So it'll be like, what happened? They'll look back in history, and like 80% of the news coverage is about this Epstein conspiracy, and very little about what actually happened.
Yeah.
Everybody will think that that's true.
Also, I touch my face so much. I'm just realizing I can't, like, and that's like they're telling you not to do that.
Yeah.
I fucking.
Also, you're in your own house, and I hope you've washed your hands in the last hour.
Not today.
And wash your hands today?
Well, like, what day is it? Wednesday? Oh fuck! It's been way longer than a day. No, we were bottling today. So we're sanitizing our hands constantly. Like, yeah, we're having to be really really careful. Voluntarily, just for my customers' sake, I'm trying to be really careful. But yeah, like I mean, like, do you? Because it's unrealistic for going back to COVID-19. It's unrealistic for every business to be able to work from home.
Yes.
Or shut down completely for months. Like we were looking at some posts from like a bunch of like family-owned restaurants, and like it's the father and the wife are immigrants and they start a restaurant. Their kids work in the restaurant and all that, and they live above the restaurant. And they're like, yeah, we can't close. Like this is all we have, right? It's
I mean, your only relief might be
the government.
Hopefully, get a break. Yeah. Some program comes in.
Yeah, but like, I'm gonna be. I think I'll be okay. Like, I think I'll figure it out. I think because, well, my landlord. Well, here's practical. We try to do practical tips on this podcast. If you're a business owner, talk to your landlord. They're gonna be just as fucked as you are.
Yep.
Level with them.
Or scared.
Or scared, yeah. Level with them, especially if you're in a corporate lease. Like, corporate leases are hard to replace.
Very.
And, yeah, like, what we're doing with our landlord, she's waiving 2 months of rent, and then we're just, like, including that over the next year. So it adds, like, an extra, $300 a month to our rent. But we don't pay rent for 2 months when we don't need to right now. So yeah, stuff like that. Like it's you drink all the Fruitopia. Also, they poured the last drink pretty heavy.
So this is quarantine brews with Shrug Talk.
Oh, I just poured that. Good luck. I poured that just as heavy, but it's half the juice. I just realized after I poured it. I'm like, oh, that's about what I poured last time.
Just smells like rubbing alcohol.
Sorry. It's,
Dude, can you grab another bubbly?
Yeah. Keep talking. We didn't actually. No, I don't know. Like, you think you're gonna be okay? Your business?
I don't fucking know.
You're not filling with confidence there, buddy.
It's because, like, the progression of the last 6 days erased any confidence I had.
I feel that. I think, okay, here's a good question.
I'm confident in my ability to roll with the punches better than most.
Same with me.
But, like, I'm getting information, like, really early, which is kind of fun. Like, I'm playing games with some of my friends of, like, I bet I will know whatever is happening before you will.
Yeah.
I'm, like, finding stuff out, like, days before it's getting announced, and, like, all this insider information I'm getting from random-ass places that's flowing in my direction. Like, Sunday night, I was on the phone with Nick, owner of Bria Kings, and he was about to put some money in the stock market. Mm-hmm. So, like, cost position is way on the way down.
Because stocks are way down, time to buy, baby.
Exactly. So, cost position, buy on the way down, right? As it dumps. And he was about to buy, and I was like, okay, well, this is going to happen with Toronto tomorrow, and this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And he's like, shit. Okay. Cancels all of his orders. Mm-hmm. Monday morning. What happens? 3,000 points in, like, 2 hours. Bang.
Well, my portfolio was fucking 35% down.
Yeah. So he texted me. He's like, "Thank you so much." with heart emojis.
I think everything's gonna go back up though.
It will, but it's not. I don't think it's done going down.
I don't disagree with that.
So Cardone says 16,000.
The Dow, you mean?
Yeah. Dow at 16,000. I would agree.
It's funny that Trump was just bragging about the Dow being at, like, all-time high.
It's so funny. Yeah. He's got to eat his fucking hat on this. So. Okay, there's another interesting subject, because before all this happened, I was completely engrossed in the elections.
Yeah, the Dem primaries.
Yeah.
Specifically.
So his foundation is on the economy, but just as much as a great economy is a reason to vote for, like, voting back in, crisis is just as good of a reason.
What is it, like, every single time there's been a war, they kept the president?
Yeah.
Because you don't switch midway. You don't switch your best player mid-fight, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, like,
especially because we have a lot of stuff that's going to happen between now and then. So
the election?
Yeah. So if he handles it well...
Which is when November their elections are?
Yeah. So a lot of shit's going to happen by then, which might be to his advantage. And Biden's going to be sitting on the side and be like, hey...
So, yeah, what do you think of Joe Biden as the candidate?
So one opinion that's really stuck with me is the I'm here because, like, vote for me because I'm not the status quo.
Yeah.
I forget what the kind of platform they call that, but basically, like, just anti-establishment or vote this other guy out has never in history worked or even come close to working.
I'm not good, but vote for me because the other guy's worse.
Yeah.
Picking the lesser of two evils is not freedom.
Yeah.
Like,
so that platform has never in history worked, and they're thinking, like, it might because
Trump is so bad, quote, quote, quote. But
no, because he's so
50% of the fucking country likes him.
Because he's so polarizing. Not because he's bad or good, because
which
he's
means
polarizing.
The fucking people, yeah. Well, I guess I'm not obviously I'm not a socialist policy fan. Why wouldn't you run Bernie? Bernie had a better fucking chance than Biden.
I don't think he did.
Really?
He wasn't winning any of the moderate vote. He only had the far left. They said...
Do you think it's because of the internet?
No.
So Bernie?
Part...
No, like, vocal minority, I mean. Like, I see so much Bernie.
Yes.
Because of the internet.
Yeah. Exactly.
But the actual vote, like, it's the polls. It's the fucking polls that said Hillary Clinton had a 98% chance to win. It's because the people, the kids answering those polls don't show up to vote.
No, like 50% of voters are over the age of 60.
Yeah.
But they're saying Bernie would have had maximum 25% of the vote.
Okay.
Like between Democrats and Republicans.
Controversial opinion here. I think I've said this on the podcast before. Over 65 shouldn't vote. Shouldn't get to vote.
I disagree.
Like between 25 and 65, that's when you can vote.
Why?
Because anyone under 25 is an idiot.
True.
We both are.
Yes.
I shouldn't fucking get a say in who runs the country.
Listen to the podcast.
I voted when I was 18 years old in the federal election. I was fucking, like, the night before voting, I was at a fucking warehouse rave at 5 a.m. I snorted a line of MDMA off a girl's ass in the bathroom the day before I voted. On a Tuesday.
So you had a very clear and rational decision-making process of what you're telling me.
You should not let me vote. Are you kidding?
Okay, what's the argument for elderly over
Fuck
65?
They're senile. They're part of an old generation. They're racist. They're dumb. Just kidding. Okay.
They control most of the money.
I don't care. It's worse.
Most of the businesses, most of the government,
Fuck 'em.
most positions of power.
Fuck them. Boomers. I don't care. Okay. This vodka is hitting me. But what was my point? Oh yeah, no. I think no one can deny that there's a giant generational gap.
Yes.
With every new generation. And I think the future going forward, 65 might be a little bit young. Maybe let's say 80.
65 is too young.
Okay.
That's below retirement age.
I will concede that might be a little bit young. But why should somebody part of the generation that did things differently, that is stuck in their ways, decide my future?
Yeah, had an economy where you could just work a job and actually afford a house.
Shit's different. Is it better? Is it worse? That's an argument for another day, but things are different since 2019, 40. How old are boomers? And the same fucking people. I know people, I know my grandmother's friends who voted for Trudeau because they're like, oh, I liked his father.
Right.
Didn't read into anything any of his policies, anything. They're like, oh, I know his dad. Like,
it's a great reason to back somebody.
You don't think that happened with Clinton?
No, it absolutely. And Bush.
Literally. So, I don't know.
And Obama.
Maybe a little bit controversial. Yeah, Obama's dad. The Kenyan. Just kidding.
They're all the same bloodline.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is pretty public. I was running for a political party. I won't say the name because it didn't end well. But
man, his tweets are fire though.
I was running for a political party for the last federal election in Canada a year and a bit ago, and I resigned my position along with our entire board resigned because we just weren't. It was a new party and we got involved because we were, excited for kind of a new perspective to politics, and it went in a direction that none of us were supportive of, so we all resigned our positions. But I was the prospective candidate for my region, for that party. So I think I like to think I know a little bit of politics, and I like to think I want to make a difference, and I want to. But ever since that whole thing where I actually saw the back end of politics, I saw the fucking things that go on, and I'm very, very disjointed with Canadian politics right now. Like, I'm getting to the point where I think that no matter who you vote in, they're going to do the same shit. Like, I don't think
pretty much.
I don't think there's a good answer.
U.S. is no different. Trump is just the only person that's actually done his own thing.
I think every
He doesn't really answer to anybody.
Yeah, I was looking at even Obama versus W. Bush. We're bombing the same amount of countries.
Yeah. In
the Middle East, right? Like, it's just even the progressive quote candidates are still pro endless war. They're still pro corporate bailouts. They're still, there's no. I don't know. I'm getting to that point. Maybe I'm just getting old and bitter, but
yeah, it's because
I'm getting to the point where I don't think who you vote for matters.
No, it doesn't. Not that much.
Well, George Carlin had a good line where he said the shit they shovel around, or the shit they shuffle around every 4 years doesn't make a difference. Like, this country's been bought and paid for a long time ago. Like,
yeah, like there's what do they call that? Leverage issues, or no, I don't know. But there's like specific issues that you put on your platform that are, let's say you have 25 things on your platform, people only care about like 4 of them, and they're actually not that big of a consequence.
Yeah.
Like maybe personally it feels like that, but the way the country's run, it's like a one bill issue.
Yeah.
You have abortion, you have marijuana, you have gay marriage, you have like all these hot triggers.
Yeah.
And they swing that left and right and left and right and left and right, and that's like, what do you mean left and right? Your eyes follow it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and all the shit moves around in the background.
Yeah.
And all people are paying attention to is this swinging opinion. And
well,
they think that's what everything's going on.
It's like Elizabeth Warren was a Republican till like 2005 or something, and like, well, Trump was a Democrat, right? Like, and it's just like Biden was against gay marriage up until like recently. Like, Warren was against gay marriage until recently. Like, it's just like, yeah. And like, as much as I do disagree with Bernie Sanders, I do respect him for, like, there's pictures of him being arrested at protests when he was like 20.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta hand it to the kid.
He's been the same the whole time.
Yeah. I like, yeah.
But also he's talking about raising, like, even at a basic income, you're at over 30% income tax.
Yeah, and you see the tweet that's like, he's been tweeting about how he hates millionaires for years, and then he became a millionaire, and then he started just saying billionaires. He doesn't include millionaires anymore.
Yeah, because millionaire's not even cool anymore.
Well, he has his 3rd house now, and he is a millionaire from being a politician.
Yeah. Because he's frugal.
Yeah, but you could make that argument, but you can also make the argument that fucking politics corrupts everybody, and he's saying what he needs to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm getting to a point where I don't know.
You get to the point where you're like, none of it matters, and then you're like, I'm just gonna do me. I'm gonna make a bunch of money, and then you get back into politics when you need to push and pull some levers to get things to go your way.
So Trump,
right? Or his friends, or whoever is propping up the current system, and like they went through the same cycle. They were probably like hopeful when they were young, and then they realized the state of things, and they're like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna bribe my way to getting what I want, and like it's just a cycle. It's human nature.
Yeah. Well, I think like there's something to be said about like,
as long as you keep up the illusion of choice.
Yeah. Well, and what's the Caesar said, like, you keep them entertained and give them bread and give them games, and they'll never question you or whatever, right? Like, yeah. And it was like, that's why they built the Colosseums, was to keep people distracted from what was
like, give them bread to keep them alive, give them games to keep them sane, or something.
So it was the sentiment, whatever the quote was, the sentiment was, if you feed them and entertain them, give them fucking Netflix, they'll never question you running the country.
Yeah, because if we didn't have Netflix right now, there would be like some actual unrest.
Yeah, everyone's just home quarantined. Fuck it. Like, my business partner ordered all his groceries on Amazon.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't go to the store, so he's like, oh, I have Prime, whatever, 2-day delivery. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of groceries.
Yeah. Imagine if there wasn't this level of home entertainment or connectivity or social media.
Connectivity is important as well. But there's something to be said about connectivity making the COVID-19 worse. Because Facebook fucking made all those people go out and buy toilet paper for no reason.
Yeah. Do you hear the story about why toilet paper actually started popping off?
No.
So, Australia got hit, obviously, earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And because they have a lot of direct connections and supply chains into Asia. And they don't have a lot of, they rely on imports a lot.
Yeah.
Especially from China.
You farm down there?
Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah. In certain regions. It's a big place.
Yeah.
But they relied on China for a lot of these imports. But as soon as China started getting locked down, that was their toilet paper supply.
Okay.
And then the buyers started hitting.
Yeah.
Or started moving into Australia. And also shipments of a lot of these products started getting cut off. So like those shelves started emptying of toilet paper before people were even panic buying, and then they started panic buying, and then like entire grocery stores were empty. Like I've got a buddy right now who's in Australia, Saeed, and
Shout out Saeed.
Yeah, and he was putting on his Instagram story him walking through a grocery store. It was like 80% empty.
Yeah.
Every shelf.
Yeah.
Perishables, non-perishables, produce, hygienic supplies, everything.
Were you even here?
No, way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse. And apparently that panic was justified because they were actually running out. And that hit social media. And America is like, oh my God, they're running out of toilet paper, not realizing it was Australia running out of Chinese toilet paper.
Yeah, but how much fucking toilet paper do you need?
It doesn't matter.
I bought a Costco pack when I moved in here and I still have it.
Right, exactly. It brings an issue to the front of your mind that you're like, people don't think about it.
Yeah.
But then they see it on their social media, they're like, oh.
Yeah, well, so that's what I'm saying, though. Do you think this would be as bad of a panic if we didn't have social media?
No, but also, if we didn't have social media, it would be a lot more like the 1918 Spanish flu, which is where it just straight up hit half the population.
Well, I guess education's a lot higher now.
Yeah, well, education used as a loose term.
Well, you mean, no, what I mean, I closed my business because I saw all my other people in the industry closing their business, right? But I wouldn't have seen that if I was on fucking Facebook.
You would have closed your business when, the sixth person walked in that was, drooling, hacking, coughing, and dying, and you're like, oh.
Maybe I should close it. Yeah.
First person experience. If you have to wait for a first person experience in order to make a decision, or by rumors, imagine if that's all we had to go on.
Yeah.
A print, news print.
When you have to go talk to people to hear rumors, right? So,
right? Yeah. It'd be too late.
Yeah.
By the time you decided to take it seriously, it'd be too late.
So you think that the social media is doing more help than bad?
Yes.
Okay. I tend to agree.
Because 80 years ago, I would not have been able to hear a heartfelt interview from the head of the pulmonary ward in the epicenter of Italy.
Yeah.
You're not going to get FaceTime with that doctor.
Yeah. Other than TV, obviously, but... Or 80 years ago, you would nothing.
It's going to be filtered 6 times.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah.
But you're not going to get it directly from the source.
What do you think of the, Iran and China are definitely downplaying their deaths?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Iran just released 90,000 prisoners.
Well, I saw that their official stats, and I verified this. The math didn't add up.
Yeah.
We have this many infected, this many cured, this many deaths, and it didn't add up. And they're because people are dying and they're just not telling anyone.
Or infected, and this is what China was doing: is people get infected and die, and they would chalk it up as something, a different cause of death.
You get a heart attack because your heart failed because you had a coronavirus. But that's irrelevant. You had a heart attack.
Yeah. That's exactly what China was doing.
To not panic people?
I guess to downplay the crisis.
Well, we don't know what the fuck.
It's human nature.
To be fair, though, we have no idea what's going on in fucking China.
True.
Right? They killed 1 million Muslims over the last 2 years. They're fucking throwing them in concentration camps and shit, and we don't hear anything about it. That's true. Google that. They literally are.
They kidnapped the former CEO of Nissan because he was Indian.
And you had a bunch of secret information about this, right?
No.
I thought didn't somebody who invested with you know the guy or something?
Oh, yeah, but that's not where I got the information.
Oh, okay. But you heard the whole story, though.
Yeah, one of our clients is the president of Nissan for Europe.
Yeah, so he knew the whole thing. Yeah. Where they had to smuggle this guy. Look, you don't know his name probably off the top of your head? No, Google.
He's basically the guy that made Nissan what it is today. He took it from a shit brand in the 80s to what it is today.
Yeah, Google Nissan China CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was this Indian guy.
And he got thrown into solitary confinement for 200 days.
For being successful, right? They were just oh, you're fucking whatever.
For basically making a deal with Fiat.
Yeah, and they threw him in fucking jail. And they were gonna
solitary.
And they were gonna kill him, weren't they?
No legal counsel.
They didn't give him a lawyer. They were gonna kill him, I think. That was the plan. And he got himself out in a fucking packing crate.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
and turned up in like Japan and was like, I need asylum. Like,
No, it was like some random non-extradition country in Europe.
yeah.
He's from Argentina, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was just, it's an insane story, but China's doing some fucked up shit. Like, we all know that. Like, you know, it is what it is.
Their culture, like, to kind of spin back to underreporting or misrepresenting the stats, it starts at the very bottom. So the theory is with China, not the theory, but this is what happened. So in China, if you bring forward an issue, they have a tendency to kill the messenger or punish the messenger.
Yeah.
And if you do anything that makes your superior look bad, you will be persecuted for it.
It's communism.
Right? So if you have a nurse detects this virus that she's seen in 6 other people, they're
going to be like, you just made China look bad, fuck you.
Right, so the nurse is going to hesitate to mention it to the doctor. And the doctor is going to hesitate to mention it to, the department head. And the department head is going to hesitate to mention it to regional.
Yeah.
And regional is going to hesitate for provincial.
Yeah.
And provincial is going to really fucking sandbag it before it hits the national leadership.
And by the time it gets there, people have died and people have been affected.
A lot. Now you're talking 20,000 people are infected, and everyone's denying that it's happening.
So you think the numbers in China are way lower than they
Probably.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I can't imagine any data we're getting out of there is accurate.
Yeah, because their stats look fucking good next to Italy right now. Italy's worse. Than they are.
To be fair, also because they have this kind of like communist. Well, like quasi communism, where it's like kind of whatever. They have this dictatorship kind of situation where they can just lock everybody down
without consent,
and be like, no, you're not leaving your house, you don't have rights, whatever, and spray down the fucking streets and shit. They can do that. So I do believe they do have it under control, but not for good reason. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Which
the same way I think like North Korea would be great at locking it down because like no, if you leave your house you're getting sniped from a fucking roof.
South Korea is probably an accurate representation.
What of like North Korea? How bad North Korea is?
No, South Korea is probably accurate stats. Who the fuck knows how bad North Korea is doing?
I haven't heard anything about North Korea. Actually, to be fair, they don't have tourists. They don't have people going in.
That's fair.
They have the closed borders. They might be fine. Like, let's be honest here. Yeah.
But that's one of the things that makes me nervous is the misrepresentation. Because one of the things that I saw today is Italy is not reporting total cases.
Why?
They're basically just like the main stat that's being measured are like new cases every day. They're not saying new, they're saying the change from yesterday. So if they had 4,000 people...
You just do the math, huh?
Well, sort of. So let's say they had 4,000 people.
Yeah.
And 1,000 got better.
Yeah. And
they got 5,000 new. They would report it as
so it's 4,000 gain.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why their death rate right now is like 6%.
Because of misreporting.
Yeah.
But it's higher?
So their cases are lower.
Yeah.
Their death rate, you can't really fudge that number.
Of course, because people are dying.
Yeah, so their fatality rate's like 6%.
Which is high.
Very.
Yeah.
That's triple what China reported.
So do we think China's misreporting, or do we think that...
You can't tell.
You were telling me earlier that some scientists think that there's 2 strains now.
There is.
Okay, yeah. So
there's a severe and a minor.
Yeah.
So that's a part of it, but
yeah. Well,
literally the only accurate statistics you're going to get on this is when it's all over.
Yeah, because we can see how many people die.
It has to fully run through.
Yeah.
So until then, it's all speculation.
Yeah.
So fucking batten down the hatches.
Mm-hmm.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your grandfather, and stay the fuck home.
Well, I'm like not even. I was supposed to have dinner with my parents, and I'm like, I'm just not.
Because your parents are definitely at risk. They're older.
They're older, yeah. They're getting in their 60s. Not quite, but getting in their 60s, late 50s. So yeah, they're like, well, I'm like, yeah, I'm just not. Because 2 weeks ago, I was at fucking farmers markets. I was shaking people's hands. I was around a lot of people, sampling, touching them. Like, it is what it is. Like, so, yeah.
Everybody brace.
Yeah. So I'm trying to, obviously, and like, especially my grandmother, like, I'm not going anywhere near her for a while. 87-year-old grandmother. Like,
yeah, in all seriousness, like when they were interviewing the governor today, like
of New York.
Yeah, of New York. So like, how do you make these decisions when you see like the financial consequences of shutting down all these bars and restaurants, because that's a huge industry. That's like a huge part of the GDP in New York, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's like, this is about how many people die and how many people live. I don't give a shit about the bottom line.
Yeah.
So anybody asking those questions, like, might feel pretty dumb.
No, I don't disagree with that. Like, I guess, well, between being dead and being poor, I'd rather be poor. But
that was one of the. He's like, that's an Italian. I think it's like an Italian saying or something like that. Yeah, proverb or whatever. I don't know. They have culture and history. We don't. But
the country's 150 years old, baby.
Right. Their saying is basically, if you could choose between, being poor, being dead, or no, sorry, health. Health is wealth. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, health is your wealth, because if you have your health, you can do anything. If you don't have your health, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like, if we can survive this, we'll figure out the money.
Yeah.
You just print some.
Money counter go whoosh, 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 whoosh. Cheers. Finish it.
Because it's not like the rest of the world isn't going to be hitting their money printers.
Well, this is gonna. No.
If you have RSPs, you're gonna have a bad time.
If given the choice, between being dead and losing my business, I will pick losing my business. However, this is all I fucking have, man. Like, I don't want to lose this. Like, there's gonna be long-lasting.
Yeah, we could just start over.
Economic factors because of this.
Okay, so you lose the business.
Yeah.
What actually happens?
What does that mean? I don't need money.
You don't have any money in now.
Fuck you. Yeah, you're not wrong.
So what do? They come to repossess the tanks? They're gone.
Ah, you idiots! I've stolen everything.
Stolen? They're just gone.
The coronavirus got them.
Right. Literally, you going out of business is you just resetting the debt meter and starting from scratch.
Well, that's what I've been saying. We just
Nothing changes.
Here's a good business tip. Fuck banks. And
private.
no, hold on. Pouring drinks right now. We're pouring some Shrugging Doctor branded classic apple cider. Available at
it's not branded. It is
available at www.shrugdad.com/order. Anyway, I don't know what I was gonna say. There were like 3 or 4 shots of vodka in each of those drinks. I'm like actually intoxicated. I'm not even kidding.
I'm not.
I'm
a little buzzed.
All I ate today was that banana that I had before we started. What was I talking about?
Going out of business.
Yeah, I am. Thanks. Just kidding. Going out of business.
It's not real.
Oh, okay, here's what I was going to say. Banks still 3 years in business now, 3 and a bit. We turn a profit. We just finished our taxes. We turn a profit of like $30,000. And that's after paying ourselves, after paying employees, after paying everything, like in the bank, profit. Banks still won't give us fucking loans.
Yeah.
Because they're too risky. Whatever. Anyway, you know who gave me my first ever credit card? $10,000 credit card? Rogers, the phone company. The fucking cell phone company gave me a credit card of $10,000 for my business.
Yeah.
And then you know who else gave me a credit card? Canadian Tire. The fucking, what are they like? They're like a home hardware, pretty much, right? Or Home Depot kind of store.
Yeah.
They gave me a fucking credit card. Like, okay, so what I've been talking about recently, my partner and I kind of made the decision to just take more debt.
Yeah.
Because to make the business, to expand and to make the business run, because I can't go double bankrupt.
No.
Going bankrupt of 20K and going bankrupt of 50K is the same bankruptcy.
Okay, so I just watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yesterday.
Very good film. I like it a lot.
They're like, they can hang you for kidnapping a little girl. And he's like, well,
Yeah.
they'd hang me if I shoot off the top of her head as well. And they can only hang you once, so.
Yeah, that was good. And then when she's like, that was the best acting I've ever seen, he like starts crying. That was a good film. I'm a big Tarantino fan.
You can only hang me once.
Yeah, you can only hang me once. Yeah, you can only go bankrupt once. Or, you know what I mean?
Might as well.
Like, well, because when you go bankrupt, your credit's going to be fucked for 7 years. You know, you're going to, whatever. But they're not going to look, oh, you had 20 grand of bankruptcy, not 50 grand. Okay, fine. Your bankrupt is bankrupt.
Yeah.
I may as well take fucking more debt. Like,
especially if it's government-backed entrepreneur loans. That's a wash anyways.
Well, because at this point, half my debt is just my corporations.
Yeah.
If I dissolve my corporation, I don't own shit. And the stuff that I have personally guaranteed, not that much. 10 grand? 20 grand maybe?
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. What are they going to do?
Most people have that much debt anyways.
Word. And they're not gonna reduce the limits on my credit cards. Well, I guess they cancel them when you declare bankruptcy.
They cancel them.
Yeah, I guess. But like, they're not like. So my credit goes down to 400, and I just restart. Right? I stole my phone. I pay off the phone bill. I stole my car. I pay off the car loan. Fucking gets me back up. Like, it'll be fine.
Do it with private money, man. Banks will never ever lend money to a real estate company. It's not even an option.
Well, you had a boss 2 or 3 bosses ago that had a fucking like 500 credit score, right? And was bringing in millions of dollars of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even $500,000 BDC loan.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he repaired his credit. He got over 600, I think. Mhm. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's like paid off $100,000 in credit card debt. That was fun.
I remember when you were his like CFO, you told me, or COO, you told me that like he had worse credit than me.
Yeah.
He was pulling in $1 million loans.
Yep.
Like.
But also he had millions in collateral.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, with crash credit, you can still make it work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm at the point now where I'm just like, to make this business work, I'm fucking doubling down. I don't give a shit.
Also, ask anyone that's successful. You got to go to business at least once before you make it.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
I'm on like 3rd time now. So I'm about to get rich.
I don't give a fuck. Like I'm at a point where it's like, let's just ride this.
Ride this shit to the bottom. Like somebody once asked me, like, I was in a business that was struggling, and somebody asked me, like, you know, how long are you gonna hang on? Like, how long are you gonna stick around? Like basically figure what my bailout plan was.
Yeah.
I looked him in the face and I'm like, I'm gonna ride this bitch to the bottom in flames. Like when it hits bottom and explodes, then I'll extricate myself.
Yeah.
I'm like,
because me and you,
that's it.
The both of us are pretty good at like figuring shit out.
Right.
Like if it comes down to it, we'll figure it out. Like I've been homeless before. You've been broke before.
I get off on this shit. I love the battle. I love the struggle. I love panic.
Yeah.
Like I've been more energized and excited
under pressure
by all this panic and everything going wrong than ever before.
My business partner and I are the same.
Yeah.
We get shit. You've seen us. We've got shit done. Yeah. When under the, you know, what's the Harvey Specter line, like when your back's against the wall, fucking break the wall down, like,
yeah.
You know, I've been there more than once.
Yeah, thrive on it.
Yeah, I literally, like, I thrive on chaos. Like, I think I've said this on the podcast before, the most unproductive I've ever been in this business was when I was, like, kind of comfortable.
Yeah. When
I was, like, hiring employees and, like, we were doing okay was, like, the worst time I've ever been.
Okay is the best thing, worst thing to be.
Yeah.
I'm just excited because being in real estate in this period of time, like, we're talking cycles of 10, 20-year windows of good times to be in real estate. Now is it.
Because you can buy it for cheap.
Yeah, empires are built on this kind of panic.
Well, Grant Cardone always says he's like, weak times like this, like panic times, sort out the weak people and,
Yes,
the good people.
yes, it's gonna kill. It's gonna kill every weak real estate
He
investor.
said,
I just wrote a blog that's pretty scathing, but it's like any real estate investor out there is flipping houses, hoping and praying for the goodwills of the retail market to buy the property at the after renovation value that your realtor promised you would get.
yeah.
Get fucked, you're about to hurt.
Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but I think the quote is something like, if I'm the better football player, I want the field to be muddy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like, I won't, because if I'm the better, because he was like, yeah, fucking some guy's managing a Pizza Hut and then gets into real estate and is making $1 million, and then the market crashes and he's making nothing, and he's like, he never deserved that in the first place.
Yeah, everybody can make money when the market's going up.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're the better player, you want it to be a fucked situation because you're going to come out on top.
Yeah, and there's a real estate club here locally, and we always make fun of it. How this guy's like, okay, and then this realtor is going to tell us the state of the market. And like, it's been 3 years. Every time he gets on stage, he says the same fucking thing because real estate's been going up 3% every year.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have anything valuable to say.
Yeah.
And now it's going down. I would love to go to the next event, but
You
hey,
probably
it's
should.
canceled.
Oh, because thanks COVID-19.
God damn it. I'm going to come out on the other side. I'm going to run the event and not bring that guy along. What he's talking about.
I think, no, I'm optimistic as well. I think like if we can get through that, and what I wanted to say, I keep forgetting, but now I remember, is we have a lot of loyal customers.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of, not only us, but there's a lot of loyal people that care about small business.
Yeah.
And well, today, like we had a big home delivery order, like hundreds of dollars, and then so I gave the order, whatever, and then like 20 minutes later, I got a notification from Instagram. The person who ordered it posted us and said like COVID stocking up, and it was all my balls.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, you know, people care, and we started offering electronic gift cards that people can buy now, just to give us money,
Yeah.
and then in a few months when this all blows over, they can come in and use the gift card.
Okay, PSA here, people, if you want to support small business and you have a little bit of money, buy gift cards.
Buy a gift card because
gift cards.
It won't expire,
Right.
And you can use it when you can go back in. And we really need the cash right now.
You might save somebody's business.
Yeah, we really need the cash right now.
You probably don't need as much cash because you're sitting at home. How much money do you spend eating out, going to the bar?
Yeah.
Doing all that shit? Spend that extra money anyways.
Yeah.
In gift cards.
Yo, literally, because like I've been $40 away from bankruptcy before. Well, less. I think the closest we ever got was like $650.
Every time you mention bankruptcy, I just think about Michael Scott walking.
I declare bankruptcy.
You're like,
you can't just say you're bankrupt. I didn't say it. I declared it.
That's what I think every time you say that.
Okay.
You have not been that close.
Yeah, I've been like $6 off.
Like, no, but
not bankruptcy, but like I've been like
declaring it as a week's long.
No, not bankruptcy. I've been like $6 off of all my bills paid. Like we paid every bill, and we have $6 left in the account.
Yeah, but everybody can relate to that.
Okay, but like I'm talking like $40,000. We're like within $6.
Yeah, I know, but
I've been there multiple times.
Yeah. But you've never been to the point where you're like, this is it. We don't have any options.
Because there's always options. Maybe I'm just that guy, but like there's always options.
There's always options.
I will go fucking sell drugs before I will let this business. Just kidding, RCMP. I would never break the law or even consider breaking the law.
Never have, never will.
Never. I've never been convicted of a crime. One time I said that to a cop. I think I told you this story. Long story. I got detained for something. He was like, have you ever been arrested before? Have you ever been arrested before? And I said, oh, no, I've never been convicted of a crime. And it was just silent staring at me. And he's like, that's not what I asked you. I asked if you've ever been arrested. I'm like, oh, no, they've never found me guilty of anything. He's like, that's not what I'm asking you. I'm like, well, I'm not a criminal. I've never been convicted of a crime. What are you asking me? You're asking me if I'm a criminal, right? He's like, yeah, that's, yeah.
It'd be like, I was a Greenpeace protester.
I've never been Greenpeace, fuck that shit.
Yeah, it'd be like, I was a Greenpeace protester, so you might find that I was arrested.
I was, I don't want to get, I was a political protester, though. And, when I think, do you not know this about me?
Yeah, I don't really talk about it.
I don't know. It was, okay, we were, Zach and I, obviously, my business partner and I, we lived in a tent across from the legislative building grounds in Memorial Park for like a month.
That I didn't even know.
Yeah, we lived in a tent when we were like 15, 16. We
totally unnecessary.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Could live at home.
Fuck them. We lived in a tent across from our legislative buildings, like our government buildings in the city, protesting with like Occupy Wall Street.
Oh yeah.
We lived in a tent.
Just why?
Protesting.
What?
Fuck them.
Would you like pro-capitalism?
So here's the thing. What I realized, I was more, I don't want to say I was more communist, but I was more...
Entitled.
No, maybe, yeah. Like, okay, it was basically I was mad at the wrong enemy. When I was younger, I was mad at the rich, when who I'm actually mad at is the corrupt.
Right.
Right? Because there's tons of great, wealthy people that came from nothing, that built that wealth and do great things. But what the people that we should be pissed at are people like Epstein and people like Hillary Clinton and people like that, that are Harvey Weinstein, yeah. Like people that are fucking rich and corrupt and fucked and hurting people. That is a super small subsection of the rich.
But they're very good at what they do.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's who I'm pissed at.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time because I was around a bunch of
people that say money's evil. That
associated the money with, but as I started getting, became friends with people that had businesses and started getting into that and consuming, capitalist content, I guess, it was like, okay, wait, these people are just working hard and making money. Why am I mad at them? I wasn't. I was mad at the politicians that were fucking everybody over. I'm mad at the corrupt people that are raping kids. I'm like, So I kind of switched gears, but I stand by what I did and what I was doing. But it was misdirected anger. And now, I would say at a fresh 24, I just had my birthday a few days ago, I'm not even mad anymore.
No.
Like, I'm focused. Like, I know exactly what I have to do to fix things. And when I become Prime Minister of Canada, hashtag vote Willows, VOTWILOWS, I won't be the fucking corrupt, bribed one. Because I'll have a private army around me dressed as stormtroopers from Star Wars that are protecting me from getting Epsteined in my fucking... Or I'll die of COVID-19. Either way...
Only hope.
Either way...
Millennial attitude. If I die, I die. I'm getting a cheap flight.
I saw some, it's like... cheap traveling and you could die at any moment. This is a millennial dream.
Man, I think on that note we should end. That was a good rant.
Fine.
What are you mad at? It might just be your dad, honestly.
Well, yeah, there's a certain point where it's like being angry isn't going to fix anything.
Right, and also, we're coming into probably the only era in your lifetime where you're actually going to need the government. And rely,
I don't.
And rely
I
on,
don't need them.
Rely on their leadership.
I don't need them. Fuck them.
You do.
No, I don't.
Okay, Will's is gonna die.
That's fine. I'll go live in the bush. I don't give a fuck. I don't need them.
You're really harsh on my vibe here.
That's fine.
Question everything, including everything we say.
Are we even real?
No.
Are we deep state plants to confuse people? No, you ever hear that conspiracy that like Alex Jones is actually like a far left person that they pay to discredit the far right? Anyway, thank you. We're gonna call it there because we have drank some drinks. My name is Willows, VOTEWILLOWS. Vote Willows on everything: Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, name a thing, Steam, name a thing.
And I just changed my handle on Instagram.
Yeah,
It's really confusing.
it killed like all the.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There's personal reasons it had to happen. What's your new one?
Tyler _ the builder.
Yeah.
Because I build things, I guess. Mostly break things, but sometimes I do the other thing.
Tyler _ the builder. It'll be tagged on Instagram if you follow us. Alcohol Beyond This Point, all one word. And we have a Facebook page, Alcohol Beyond This Point Podcast.
And also, in quarantine, might as well start a podcast.
You may as well, honestly. Or listen to our podcast.
Yeah. Okay, do that.
Do that first, and then start one. And link it to me, and we'll collab. We probably won't, but...
Send us funny shit to talk about.
Send us some topics. We're going to be locked in this room for 14 days, so... Anyway, thanks you for listening. We really appreciate it. Please wash your hands and stay safe from COVID-19. And we will see you later.
Man, that's awkward.